Hey everyone, it's Greg from Stationery Shenanigans. I mentioned in my last video that I was about to take a trip, so I am taking a mini vacation just for a couple days. I'm taking a road trip, and I wanted to talk about what I plan on bringing with me because I'm always curious to see what you all use when you either go somewhere or just in general, like what materials you use to complete your spreads in your traveler's notebooks or your hobonichi, or just in general. I'm always curious about that. So I figured, why not talk through what I plan on taking, and then sometimes when I talk to you all about my plans, it helps me realize things. So this is kind of like dual-hatted here. So I had this ambitious plan where I was going to create a new traveler's notebook setup in my passport blue size for this trip, with the thought of like, okay, like I want to travel lightly, I'm going from city to city and I'll be driving, and I just want to like kind of not have that many things to carry around. But when I sat down to do it earlier, I realized it loses a lot of charm because this is pretty much like a blank slate. And I wanted to bring something that was well used and it has a lot of pages in it already to kind of keep me feeling motivated. Because sometimes when we have a new notebook or new whatever, we are afraid to use it. So I wanted to avoid that. So I decided, no, let's just stick with my limited edition hotel that I'm currently working in. And then, yeah, so let's go ahead and open it up and take a look. So first things first, I want to go over the supplies. These are what I would consider a lightest possible load that you could take. How do I want to say this? Like being able to journal and put ephemera in your notebook and all that without having to carry a lot of things. So in theory, you could just bring this notebook because it has the plastic zipper case with it that has everything that you would need. So I like doing that when I travel because it's nice to only have to carry one thing around. So see if I can zoom in a little bit. So here's what I'm gonna do. Go one by one. The first thing I have is this Jetstream, which I already talked about. It's just a good everyday writing pen and it writes in black. I like having some neutral colors like black or blue. And then I'm bringing my Tatcha, which has the green ink in it. I'm bringing just a thin washi tape, and I purposely pick the thin ones so it can fit better in my zip case because the regular size ones are like double the thickness, and then it just makes it awkward to carry in your notebook and it doesn't close right and all that. So I try to bring the thinnest one possible. I did have this thin one, this metallic green, which is a little bit thinner. Or no, is it the same? No, it's the same. It's just less tape is on there, that's why it seems thinner. But to me, it's very Christmassy and it's August, so decided to not go for that. And I'm bringing my Tombow permanent adhesive glue tapes, which I've talked about a lot. I got on Amazon. I just really like these. This is a Pentel. There was some kind of special edition from Tokyo Pen Shop. This is like a mini whiteout tape, and I just love how mini it is. And I'm also weird where I hate scribbling out something. I like putting whiteout over it and writing over it. Then I have the travel scissors that pretty much have the profile of a pen. I always bring scissors because even if I don't plan on cutting out things to paste into my notebook while I'm on the trip, it's still nice to have to cut out from whatever, to not have to carry around like a whole big pamphlet. Like let's say there's only one thing you want to cut out from your hotel, you can just cut it out and then stick it in the back pocket of this and then deal with it when you get home. So, and I like how it has a profile of a pen. This is my blue Hello Kitty Uniball Signo DX. I've had this for like 8 years now. I use it a lot. There's just something about it. It just works well for me. It was one of my first purchases from Tokyo Pen Shop when I started to really get into this. And I just wanted like a regular blue, and I wanted a gel because I'm gonna have Jetstream in black and I like to have a little bit of choice. Sometimes you wanna write in one color, not the other. Then I'm going to bring this Zebra Optex 2 Easy highlighter, and it's got like a chisel tip on one end and just like a regular rounded tip on the other end, and it's in brown. I'm feeling very brown and green. I will be staying in a cabin in the mountains for 2 nights, so it's kind of like I want to keep with that nature theme on this trip, so I figured that would be good for outlining things or drawing like bubble letters in my journal, things like that. So I have that. Always have a paper clip and the writing board. So those are the supplies. I also have the brass clip, so when I'm sitting down, whether I'm outside or inside, it's just nice because then, you know, all your notebook pages stay down, which makes it easier to use. And yeah, so I also want to talk about a little challenge I think I'd like to propose. I want to do a fill your notebook challenge, and I'm absolutely making this up. I have no idea if other people do something like this or if it's an official hashtag or something, but while I was thinking of using my passport edition, I was like, no, I should just finish the notebooks that I currently have. So I'm making this trip a challenge for myself to see how long it takes to finish the current notebook I have. So my first notebook in this traveler's notebook is my actual like journaling traveler's notebook, you know, where I put ephemeral and I write about where I went and my thoughts and places I've been, like, you know, your typical traveler's notebook thing. And I'm a little bit more than halfway finished because there's some pages in the back too. Oh, there's my watercoloring. So I figure, you know, if I did a page for every city, or, you know, it'll be like 6 pages. And then I'm also going to talk about some art supplies I'm bringing in case I want to do some artsy type stuff. And then, I know I've talked about this before, it's like beating a dead horse, but I want to finish this notebook. It's part of my Fill Up Your Notebook challenge. This is like my journaling where I write about stuff. I write about feelings and things I'm thinking about that I want to either change in my life or hope for, or anything like that. This is kind of like your Dear Diary thing at the end of the day. And I'm not going to show you the pages on that just because a lot of those things are really personal. But this is just a lined notebook, and I've only done a few pages, and I really want to just have some time to sit down and just write what I think. And I'm hoping on this trip I will be able to do that. I say that now, but we'll come back next week and see what actually happens. So yes, this is my Fill Up Your Notebook challenge. The goal is to fill up whatever notebook you're currently using before you get another notebook, whether you buy it or take it off your shelf or whatever, before you even think about it. Because I think the feeling of using it up and finishing it and moving on to something else will either help you realize what you really like about your other notebooks or methods, or what you don't like. And I feel like that's kind of what applied to me with my Dollar Tree colored pencils and my cat comics and my Hobonichi Techo, that I keep doing it consistently because I'm enjoying it. So that's a sign, and I'm just going to take that sign and run with it. So I'm going to try to fill up these notebooks as part of my Fill Up Your Notebook challenge. And those are the supplies. This is the traveler's notebook. I just threw this together because I didn't want to bring much, but I have this sense that I might want to do some watercoloring when I'm there. I'm definitely inspired by Frank from Stationery at 4. He went on like he was on a trip, and he drew the map of where he was, and he painted it in, and I just really like that. So it just inspires me to maybe just sit down and just draw something basic, or just do like a background in watercolor. So this is a little $1 felt envelope thing I got from Shein, and inside of it is my Traveler's Notebook art palette with the water brush in there, and it fits in the little pouch that it comes with. And then I talked about these from my last haul. These are the Lay Pen drawing pens, and I'm bringing along the brush pen and the 1.0 pigment ink. It came in a pack of 5 or 6, but I just decided I'm not really going to be doing anything fine or detailed, so why don't I just stick with the brush and the 1.0 and bring that with me. So that fits in here, and that's what I'm going to bring. So before I pack everything away, I figured we could do a little bit of journaling together. I want to just kind of put out my itinerary because I'm hoping that it brings good juju and brings good energy for the trip. Sometimes I'll bring my traveler's notebook and have these like grand ideas where, okay, I'm going here for the weekend, so on Saturday when I wake up and go out for coffee, I'm gonna set my notebook up at the coffee shop and write about all the things I'm doing this weekend and everything on the trip. And then I come home and I never once wrote anything. Or like I'll bring my traveler's notebook to the coffee shop and then I won't actually take it out and do anything for whatever reason. So let's try to break that and bring some good juju. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna skip past this travel and sketch page because I think I'm gonna come back and use it for something with my watercolors later. This is a stamp I had gotten at the DC Pen Show. And go to a new page. We're not skipping pages in order to fill up our notebook. I am gonna come back to these, I promise. This is just because it's a trip, I wanna start the itinerary on a first page. So I'm gonna take my writing board. Actually, let me get another clip. Let's keep it down. What I'm thinking is, I have letter stamps, and long story short, I use them to make favors for my friend's baby shower, but I don't know where they are. I can't find them. So I'm gonna use this date stamp I got from Shein, and I'm thinking of just doing a little dated itinerary. And if any of you are from these areas or have been there and can recommend cool things to do, I kind of like doing the washi tape along the spine. I think that's what I'm gonna do. I was gonna do it across the top, but let's just go for it. This is the thick Scandinavian design house washi tape. And I don't know, I just like the geometric shapes. Penco scissors. So have you been able to go on any trips this summer or go do anything that maybe you wouldn't be able to do, you know, during a long weekend, or did you take off? Did you have a staycation? That sounds kind of good. I would love to stay home and just work on my notebook and stuff. The problem when I stay home, especially if I take off from work and I'm home that long, is that I do other things. I'll start being like, oh, I got to vacuum. Oh, I should do this. Oh, I should do that. I don't actually devote the time to what I actually want to do. So it's like distractions, right? It's how sometimes I do more journaling and more things when I'm staying at a hotel, because in a hotel room, you're not at home. You don't have all your things, and you don't have to go clean the kitchen and all that. There's things that mess with your mind. So put a little tape there. And then I think I'm just gonna put, let me actually draw with this highlighter. See if I zoom in a little bit. I'm gonna do a little road trip. I'm gonna be crazy and just outline it with my jet stream instead of a pigment pen. So I finished my college job and I'm still doing another research job for another college, but that work is kind of like as needed. I can work an hour or two here or there just to do what I have to do, so it's not a set schedule. So since I have this time off from my college job, that's like an in-person scheduled job, I took off from my day job and I'm not checking emails or doing anything. I'm just gonna go to these places. One place I've always wanted to go to since middle school, when I saw it on PBS. So a little road trip. And then we're gonna do the dates for our itinerary. I think I'm gonna use some of these stamps. So let's do the let's go. Let's go. And how do I write an itinerary? Maybe I'll just write itinerary with the same. Sorry, I didn't think this out or do any planning, so you're getting the live experience of me just sitting down figuring this out. do my itinerary in lowercase? Itinerary. Ooh, I hope I spelled that right. Actually, I have a real itinerary that I made. Let me go get that. Okay, got the itinerary. So one thing I learned to do in all my travels is instead of like planning things down to specifics, I would just pick like 2 or 3 specific places I want to go to and then just look on the map when I get there and maybe plan out a general routes. So what I went through is I just went through each one and I picked like 1 or 2 coffee shops that sounded cool, or wineries, or bookstores or whatever. Yeah, so the main attraction of this trip is I've always wanted to go to the Biltmore in Asheville, North Carolina. I've also never been to Asheville itself, but it is the largest home in the United States. And I remember watching PBS when I was younger, and I just was fascinated by it. And I decided that now's the time to take the road trip, especially because flights and all that are very expensive right now. So why not do a road trip? So, okay, I'm leaving Wednesday, August 10th. So let's do a little date stamp situation. I'm thinking what I'll do here is just put the general itinerary, like days where I'm going. And then that way, when you flip the page, it'll be broken down into each section, kind of like, this is kind of like my table of contents to my trip. So, trying to do the date stamp here, 2022. It is August. I'm leaving 10th, so 1. Okay, 10. Let's see how this looks. And I'm just using black ink because you all know my distressed ink issue. Okay, 10 August 2022. And then according to my itinerary, I go to the next city on the 12th. So let's do it 12 August. I'm thinking I'll put it underneath and then again here. Ooh, the G from the August didn't show up, but that's okay. Kind of gives it that novelty, right? And then I go on the 14th. Ooh, I think I over pressed on that 1 there, so it might look kind of ugly. Whatever, let's just have fun. Okay. Again, I messed up the August. I think with these kind of stamps, maybe you have to like I don't know, roll it? Okay. So, should I just write it with this? Sometimes these things really worry me. I think I'm just gonna write with my Jetstream. Let's not get crazy here. So the first place I'm going to is Roanoke, Virginia. So that's like a 3.5-hour drive. So I'm gonna put make sure I'm spelling it right. Then on the 12th is when I go to Asheville, North Carolina for 2 days, and that's when I'm going to go to the Biltmore. And then I'm going to Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Never been there. And also, I check out from there. So I'm staying there for 1 night. So I check out on the 15th. I actually don't know where I'm going to go the last night. I'm either going to keep driving all the way home. From there, it's like 5.5 hours. I don't know what kind of mood I'll be in. or if I find something fun to do, or I'm just going to stop off in Richmond, because Richmond, Virginia is definitely one of my favorite cities in the US. So I figure I took off that Tuesday, so we're just playing it by ear. We could just book a random hotel. We're being spontaneous here, but not really, as you saw my complete map and itinerary. And then, so I'm just gonna put August 15th and leave it blank. So let's roll left to right, because it looks like, I don't know. Okay, that improved it a little bit, but then I got some ink on the edge, as you can see there. So it kind of looks cool with that library stamp and the geometrics. And then I do want to do the globe stamp, even though, well, you can see where I'm going on this globe, but it's mostly Africa and South America. And then I'll fill in later where I decide I'm gonna stop. Just put the globe in the middle. Ooh, that actually looks really nice with the, like the shadowing on it. I think it looks better than the other stamps. Get my little stamp there. So yeah, this is going to be my bringing good energy for this trip. And yeah, so to recap, notebook challenge. Let's fill up our notebooks, fill up our notebook challenge. Trying to travel lightly, but still do a lot and actually do it. Wow, I really didn't think this out. You just all are listening to me talk. I apologize. Unless you like that kind of thing, let me know. So I'm doing watercolors and journaling. I'm hoping to do both some artsy stuff. I thought I wanted to like maybe bring pencils to sketch with, but if I brought pencils, that would bring in the whole like erasers and sharpener into the equation. I was really trying to pack light, so we're just not gonna do that. Plus maybe I'll find a cool stationery store down there. I thought when I looked up I saw maybe a bookstore, but that's it, I can't remember. So now I'm gonna pack everything up and show you what it's gonna look like to throw in my bag for travel. So I'm putting in all these goodies into the Traveler's Notebook zipper pouch, which is definitely one of my favorite accessories. I feel like it's the most useful. Okay. It's getting a little tight in there. I think I tried to put another pen in there for fun, and it was really just not doing it. So I have everything this was what I would be taking on my trip. Okay, close it up. Then putting this in here. That's it, right? Okay, we got the notebook already. And then again, this is my felt pouch with my watercolors and 2 Pigma markers. I kind of like this because it's also the shape of my traveler's notebook. And I'm going to put it in the hotel laundry bag. And it's going to go in the back there. So yeah, this is what I plan on taking. I like that it fits in just this cotton pouch. Got a notebook, watercolors, and then also when I know I'm not gonna want to watercolor, if I just want to bring my notebook out wherever I am, that's why I like having it separate from the rest of my supplies, so I could take it out and just keep it in my hotel room and then be on my way. So once again, thank you for listening to me ramble. Let me know in the comments below what are some of your favorite things or tips or tricks that you have, and if you're going to take part in the fill up your notebook challenge and what you plan on doing, or maybe having no plans. I also thought of that, of just doing like just open the traveler's notebook and whatever you feel like doing that day, whether it's drawing, writing, doodling, just cutting out things from newspapers and magazines and gluing it in there and making collages just to fill up those pages, because maybe that'll spark some creativity and also give us a sense of accomplishment. All right, well, hopefully you'll hear from me when I get back from my trip and then I have something interesting to show you all. Thanks again and take care.